What's up, Net Soldiers on the Alliance? Welcome back to another video, guys. These last 3 weeks have been crazy. If you guys don't know, my daughter was born, and I've been really kind of acclimating myself and preparing myself for kind of like the craziness that is fatherhood. And so far, as insane as it is, I love it. It's the best thing I ever did. So I'm gonna try to get back into producing 5 videos again every week. It's a little tough right now with having to watch the baby and working 2 full-time jobs. Well, I should say a full-time and a part-time. I consider like my full-time job, and like YouTube would be considered my part-time job. And then also just trying to have a social life and living. It's kind of tough. So thank you guys for sticking around and being great. It's tough, but it's awesome being a father. So now with that said, and the return of Net Alliance finally being officially announced, let's get to the video. So about a month ago, I came up with this idea where I let the fans kind of give me like versus ideas between any characters in any franchise ever, and I just kind of have them fight each other and see who would win, in my opinion, who's this overall stronger. And you guys seem to really like it. I asked for more suggestions, and you guys gave me a ton. So I went through all the suggestions, picked out my top 15, actually top 16, because the 16th one is pretty interesting, so we'll get to that one though. You'll see at the end of the video. So we're pitting all these characters against each other, and we're going to see who will win these epic battles on Epic Battles 2. Alright, starting off with Elemental Jedi. He asks, do Thanos versus Legends Luke, please? Okay, so this one's a really tough one. It all depends on the situation. Does Thanos have his gauntlet? I think if Thanos does not have his gauntlet, then Legends Luke, who is known to be the most powerful Jedi in probably all of Star Wars beyond canon and expanded universe, or Legends, whatever you want to call it, he's known to be like the most powerful being in the galaxy. So while Thanos still powerful, he's pretty much without the gauntlet. He's just a guy who can punch things hard. He's just kind of like a glorified purple Hulk. I think I just perfectly described Thanos. Now, if Thanos has the gauntlet, he can pretty much do anything he wants. He pretty much has the ability of the Force plus more. So if we're putting Thanos against Luke, Thanos has the gauntlet, Thanos wins, of course. But if we put Thanos against Luke and Thanos does not have the gauntlet, then Luke completely decimates Thanos. But that's just my opinion. Next question, we have Chala the Memer, and he says R2-D2 versus BB-8. Now this one's pretty tough. I feel like BB-8 is more agile than R2, but R2's got has taken some good hits in the past and has continued going. So plus he's got his flamethrower, his shocker. He's got jetpack, so he can fly away from BB-8 if he wants to. This is a tough one, but I think I gotta give it to the original R2-D2. Next one we have from Darth Primus, and he asks Darth Vader versus Magneto. Now this one's kind of tough because depending on how you want to look at it, Darth Vader's suit is metal, has metal made on it, but it also doesn't because it's from a different universe. So depending on if Magneto can use and manipulate metals from different universes, it's possible. Because if you think about it, just like his respirator is metal, so if Magneto could control that thing, he could just crush it in seconds and then Darth Vader is done right away. But if he can't, then that completely makes this fight completely swapped. So pretty much if Magneto can use his abilities to his full potential, then Vader's done for. But if Magneto can't, then it's definitely Vader's gonna win this. And I'd even say with a lightsaber slice, he could probably end Magneto pretty quick. So between these two, I gotta say probably Vader. So we have Sheev Palpatine, and he asks, me versus Darth Sidious. Totally not me. So pretty much we have Sheev Palpatine versus Darth Sidious. Now depending on how you want to look at it, yes, we know that, spoiler alert, they're the same character. If you look at it from the perspective of someone in the universe who doesn't know that Sheev Palpatine is Darth Sidious, clearly Darth Sidious would completely wreck Sheev's day. So gonna have to give the Sidious. So although this matchup doesn't really make sense, in a way it kind of does. So there you go. Next one we have from Colbros123, and he says Hulkbuster versus Thanos without the Infinity Stones. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Thanos without the Infinity Stones is just like the Hulk, just purple and smarter. So I would say that while the Hulkbuster would probably put up a good fight against Thanos, Thanos would probably come out as the victor in the end. Depending on who's driving the Hulkbuster, maybe Tony could probably beat Thanos. I mean, I guess it depends on the pilot of the Hulkbuster. If Tony's inside, then he might have a chance against Thanos. But if not, if it's anybody else, then chances are Thanos would probably win. So I'm going to give it to Thanos. Next one we have for David Haynes, and he says, all Jurassic Park carnivores versus Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Note that includes the hybrids like Indominus Rex and Indoraptor. Okay, so pretty much out of all the Jurassic Park films, all the carnivores we have seen versus Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, this is pretty much really easy to me. I think Optimus Prime could solo every single one of those predators by himself, especially if he has his sword with him. That's like instant victory. Especially if he has Bumblebee with him, that's like completely decimating all the carnivores. So definitely Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. What we have from Nick Boy, and he says Darth Maul versus Black Panther. Now, this I think pretty much comes down to the ability of lightsaber versus vibranium. Now, there's actually a video online, I'll see if I can find it, I'll definitely link it below, where this guy actually does the science behind can a lightsaber cut through vibranium. So pretty much, can a lightsaber cut through Captain America's shield? And he found out in the end that yes, it can. So while Black Panther has that really nice armor that can't be penetrated by anything in his own universe, the lightsaber can slice right through it like butter still. So when it comes down to it, gotta say Darth Maul would definitely beat Black Panther. Next one we have Mr. Mushi Gaming, and he has Superman versus Darth Vader. This would be a fun fight to see, but I think I went over this before in my previous video. Pretty much, it depends on how you view the Force. If you view the Force as space magic, then theoretically, Superman is vulnerable to that magic. Superman is vulnerable to kryptonite, as we know, and magic, and technically, if you view the Force as space magic, that's completely going to really hurt Superman more than just like your standard like bruise or attack. It would almost like immobilize him, kind of like what kryptonite does. So it makes him pretty much mortal again. So I guess it depends on how you view that. If it comes down to Superman versus Vader, Superman is very quick. Vader is quick too, but Superman is super quick. So I think that Superman would probably just be really quick about it and just go and crush Vader real quick with his strength, you know. But if Vader is able to get his Force abilities onto Superman, he's definitely going to be able to slow him down, weaken him, and take him out. So overall, I'd probably say Superman would be the victor though in this fight. Unless, like I said, you consider the Force magic, in which case then Vader is the victor. Next one we have the Star Wars nerd, and he says Elmo versus Rose Tycho. Elmo versus Rose Tycho. You know, out of all these fights that I have done so far on here, that is the fight I would pay the most to see. Just see Rose and Elmo just start fighting each other. I just think that'd be hilarious. But especially like you hear Elmo like just cursing up a storm in his little high-pitched voice. That'd be hilarious. But when it comes down to it, while Elmo is cool and Rose is alright, Elmo is a puppet, and Rose could definitely kick a puppet's butt. So, gotta give it to Rose. Next one we have from Pumpkin Gamer 555. He says Doctor Strange versus Scarlet Witch. This one's actually pretty tough. See, Scarlet Witch is regarded as one of the strongest Marvel heroes, and Doctor Strange is strong as well, but like Scarlet Witch is, at least in the comic books, is classified as like one of the top tiers. The way I'm looking at this is that I believe that Scarlet Witch is the more powerful fighter, right? I think that Doctor Strange is the smarter one. So while Scarlet Witch would be able to use her powers to really decimate Doctor Strange's intellect would allow him to kind of outmaneuver her in a way that he could possibly pull off the victory. So although I'd say Scarlet Witch is more powerful than Doctor Strange, I do think that Doctor Strange is much more knowledgeable with his own powers and has a bunch of different powers that could essentially lead to his victory. So I'm gonna say Doctor Strange. That's just my opinion though. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. So our next one is from Star Wars Nerd again, and he has Jango Fett versus Boba Fett. Now this is a really good matchup, and I'd like to tell you the answer, but the thing is, I actually did a video on this about a year ago. So if you guys want to check that out, there'll be a link to that in the description below. It's a pretty fun video. I used to do a lot more verses like back in the day, so pretty good. So go check it out. Might be surprised by the victor, but probably not, because I think it's obvious who would win, but that's just me. Next one we have the Magma Man. He says Abomination versus Doomsday. Now this is an interesting fight because if you look at Abomination and Doomsday in the most recent movies that we've seen them, they look very similar. They look like they could be like almost brothers. So while I'd want to give it to Abomination because of, I think his design, at least in the movie, is like more interesting than Doomsday's. Doomsday is definitely like 10 times stronger than Abomination. Not just that, but he has like 10 times more powers. Abomination is just the Hulk. He's a yellow Hulk. He can smash, punch things. That's what he can do. Doomsday can do pretty much everything that Superman can do, except for like a few things. And he's just as strong as Superman, if not stronger. So I definitely have to say Doomsday would definitely win. Next one we have from Anthony Schwab, and he says Deadpool versus Deathstroke. I feel like this fight wouldn't be taken seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like Deathstroke would be like, all right, you're going down, and Deadpool would be like, oh hey, it's me. Well, it's me. Like, I guess I'm the discount you, I should say. You know, something's funny like that. But if they're fighting seriously, I do think Deathstroke would come out as the victor. But the fact that Deadpool can kind of not die and continue coming back and just being more of a nuisance on Deathstroke, I think in the end Deadpool would win. So I'm gonna give it to Deadpool. Next one we give to Tanner Productions. He says, do Jango Fett versus Star-Lord. This one is obvious to me. I love Star-Lord, but when it comes down to it, Jango Fett is just like 10 times more trained, so much more skilled with his weapons and his fighting abilities. I think overall, Jango Fett is the superior warrior, and he would definitely outdo Star-Lord. And now for possibly the hardest fight we've ever seen on this show. And there's only been 2 episodes, so it's not saying much, but it could possibly be the toughest fight I've ever seen. We have Batman with Prep Time versus Jar Jar. So why is this fight such a big deal? If you saw episode 1, I had declared that Batman with Prep Time could beat anybody, and Jar Jar is just such a great character and probably just superior to every character that's ever existed that he can't lose either. So Derpa14 here had a good idea and said, well, let's see, if Batman with Prep Time can't lose and Jar Jar can't lose, what happens if they would both fight each other? And pretty much the deciding factor of this fight, I thought about it for at least 10 seconds. It comes down to pretty much the prep time. Can Batman have enough prep time to beat Jar Jar? And the thing is, there isn't enough prep time to take down Jar Jar because he's just that powerful. However, Jar Jar is still Jar Jar, and while Jar Jar is Jar Jar, and Jar Jar beats everybody except Batman with Prep Time. Batman, Prep Time, Jar Jar. And that's all I gotta say. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Oh wait, you guys wanted an actual answer to that? Let's just say we'll leave it to the gods to decide their fates. Or you guys can vote up here to see who'd win, and we'll decide that in the next episode. That'd be pretty interesting. But that's it for this video, guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications. NetAlliance is back. Videos are going to continue like the old days, and we're gonna have fun. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being awesome. We'll see you later. Peace.